There's Ursula von der Leyen of the EU coming in. You can see at the middle of your screen there a lot of foreign dignitaries gathered for this. I believe that is the King of Spain on the right-hand side of your screen. But as we're watching all of these people get together, you know, it's worth pointing out, Charlemagne was crowned at the Vatican. So every foreign leader of significance in history over 2,000 years has come to this spot. So this is an event that no prominent world leader would want to not be in attendance for. And it says something about the significance of the papacy as a moral and religious center of gravity for the world. And of course, Christianity is the largest religion in the world. And its significance is, especially on the Judeo-Christian world and Western civilization, completely formative and foundational to everything and every form of government in that entire part of the world. So that's why you're going to see every significant foreign leader, with the exception of Vladimir Putin, who is not going to be here, you know, and which says something, I think, on its own. There are a few notables who are not here, and we can talk about that. Benjamin Netanyahu is not here from Israel. He has had some differences with one of the people who's on the, I guess I don't even feel comfortable saying the short list, because there's a lot of lists out there of people who may take over. But Cardinal Pizzaballa, who is in Jerusalem, is one of the people who's very considered to be one of the people who's in consideration here. So, and he's had his differences over Gaza. In fact, Pope Francis was on the phone with the Catholic Church in Gaza almost on a daily basis to show his support for the Catholic Church that exists in what has become a very dangerous place in the world. We just saw former President Joe Biden, who is here with the former First Lady Jill Biden as well. So we see a number of them coming in right now. We know that Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, will be here, of course, as well as the President of Italy. What a shot this is. Jonathan Morris, let me bring you in here, because this is just an extraordinary shot right here.
Yeah, there's 200,000 people or so can fit inside the square. Of course, this is a square that was redesigned most famously by Bernini. And you see all the columns that are meant to signify the embrace of Mother Church, right? So there's people from all walks of life. There are Catholics, non-Catholics there. There are people who love Pope Francis, who didn't love Pope Francis, and they're being embraced by that colonnade, right? Welcome. You are welcome here. And that's what Pope Francis did. You mentioned Pope Francis's daily calls to the local church in Gaza. That's just typical Pope Francis. He's always going, and that ticks people off. Let me tell you, it ticks people off, because, hey, why aren't you talking about the suffering in Israel? Why aren't you talking about more about the kidnapping of all of those and hostages? Hostages. And he did talk about those things, but he would always go and say, I'm going to talk to the people who are suffering the most right now that nobody knows about. I'm going to talk to the people, since we don't have as many images from Gaza, I'm going to talk to them. That made a lot of people uncomfortable. But Pope Francis has just decided that's what he's going to do. And can I tell you, Martha, as we came to Rome, so many people told me, and I'm sure you as well, people who are unchurched, I just love Pope Francis because he made me feel welcome and loved. And others who follow the church more closely would say, hey, but he didn't wear red shoes, and those red shoes symbolize the blood of the martyrs. Why is he changing things?
So, let me just jump in, yes. Jonathan. We see President Trump and Melania Trump here paying their respects.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus.
Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum.
Over the
Benedicta
square, your
tu
thoughts?
mulieribus,
Well,
et benedictus.
the Holy Father had a wonderful devotion to the Blessed Mother, right? The icon that's at St. Mary Major, Salus Populi Romani, was a personal favorite of his. And he's now going to be buried, entombed in the chapel adjacent to that icon. In fact, amazingly, as many of you know, every time he went on a trip to reach out to the people of God across the globe, he would first stop at St. Mary Major's, say a prayer, the Hail Mary, spend silent moment before that icon in prayer, and then go about his journey. And then when he came back, he went back again to express gratitude. And he did that over 100 times. So it's truly wonderful that he had asked to be buried at that location. And the Blessed Mother always takes care of her children, and we're all her children. And priests and bishops and certainly popes, have a very special relationship with her. And that is so evident in the life of Pope Francis and, frankly, all the popes.
And one of the things, let's bring in Lauren Green here, if I may. Lauren, one of the extraordinary things we're going to watch here is this procession. So I really encourage everybody to stay with us after the Mass, because it's going to wind its way through Rome and through the Forum and the Colosseum area. And this also gives more people an opportunity to see the Pope as he heads to his burial.
Yeah, it's pretty unprecedented, Martha. I mean, this has not happened in over 100 years. And I've got to address the elephant in the room here is the helicopter going over. I mean, I live in New York City, and I've never seen a helicopter come that close to the ground. It's quite near. And, of course, you've got the loudspeakers going on the Via della Conciliazione. They are doing the morning prayers. They're doing the prayers before the funeral Mass. But, yes, the procession from the Basilica to St. Mary Major is going to be at a slow pace. It will take about 30, 40, maybe even an hour, because people want to view Pope Francis and say their last goodbyes.